Hello everyone, I'm here. I know it's January, but because I do everything quarterly, this is how it has to be. I'm here today with a quarterly wrap up and haul for fall. So let's get into it. So let's first talk about like wrap up-y stats. Normally I do a haul and a wrap up separate, but because one, I knew I wasn't gonna buy any books at the end of the year. Although I think technically I may have bought one. Now I can't remember. I did not plan a haul. And I haven't been getting books for Christmas and my birthday. But I did this year. So we're just throwing that in at the end of this video. I should have been prepared and had my spreadsheet up. Also, I'm getting over a cold. So if I sound extra nasally, because I do have a nasally accent already, or my nose is particularly red, no, it's not. Please ignore it. And if I sound particularly out of breath, it's because I am. Just like existing right now is like exhausting. Anyways, so in the last 3 months of the year, I did read quite a bit. I will spoil you and tell you that I did in fact accomplish my Goodreads goal. Barely, but I did. So in October, I read 12 books. In November, I read 12. And December, I read 19. Now that a lot of those were novellas, so I don't care, but that is the case. And I think normally I try to like break down these more, but I'm not going to. But what I will do is I will go over all of the books, just like read through them and let you know like some quick thoughts and my ratings on them. So in October I was finishing up the Amazon Originals like Halloween-y romances that they released. So I read Falling by Christina Lauren, which I gave 3 stars. That feels very generous. Okay, sure. I feel like I remember not liking it that much, but okay. Spicy Little Creature, or Curses, sorry, by J.T. Geisinger, which I also gave 3 stars. I remember liking the narration on this because I listened to all of these on audio, but it wasn't like my favorite thing. Space Vampire by Ruby Dixon, which I gave 3 stars. A little sad. I do really enjoy Ruby Dixon, so I was hoping she would be kind of like a standout for me. And then I took a little break, and I read Spotlight by Rebecca Genshak, which I gave 4 stars. I did really enjoy it. I don't know if I was just in like a weird headspace because the other books in this series I feel like I have just devoured, and this one took me a little bit longer. But this is the Holland Brothers books, and I believe this was the last one. Next was back to the novellas. So Beautiful Nightmares by Katie Robert, which I gave 2 stars. I did not like. I think Katie and I are parting ways soon. Like, I don't know. And then My Boyfriends Are All Monsters by Kimberly Lemming. I also gave 2 stars. I did not like this one at all. A lot of these were new to me author. That's not true. Like half of, well, no, I guess just J.T. Geisinger and Kimberly Lemming were new to me authors. And I don't know, like maybe I would check them out. I don't know. Because I got my Audible back for a few months, I did check out an Audible original, and it was, or like something included in like Audible Plus or whatever. I read Pumpkin Spice and Not So Nice by Becky Monson. I gave it 4 stars. It was like a little novella. I guess there is a full-length novel that follows this female main character's sister. Her parents run like a pumpkin patch, so it's not spicy at all, but it's just like a cute, fun little romance. Then I read The Game, The Surgeon, and the MMA Fighter by Jolie Vines. So this is connected to the other books I've read by her this year. I gave it 4 stars. I enjoyed it. So the first book I read by her, Aaron's Obsession, this takes place like in that book. You learn about this game that like 5 women go into this like warehouse, and like 25 men are unleashed on them, and one man claims each woman by having sex with her, and then they have to like live together for like a set period of time and do all this stuff. And so this is just following somebody who does the game separately from the game in that book. And it's this surgeon and this MMA fighter. It was a little unbelievable, but it was fun, I guess. Definitely dark. Next was Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sue Lynn Tam. This was part of my Try a Chapter series, and unfortunately, this was a DNF. Very sad. Then there was What Fury Brings by Trisha Levenseller, which I gave 4 stars. I kind of wish I had just done a video on this because I have a lot of feelings about it, and I don't fully know how to explain how I feel about it. I believe there will be more books in this world, and I am curious to see what she does. I think this just didn't go as far as I thought it might, and so I was a little disappointed by that, because it's kind of this like reversed world, although not really. It's just the country that our female main character lives in, where the women are like the more powerful ones, and they treat men they treat men the way, like, in an extreme way, the way like women would be treated in our world. So I thought it was an interesting concept, but I feel like she didn't make all the choices I feel like she potentially should have made. And what? And like I couldn't figure out, like, is it supposed to be a satire? Because like, again, I feel like if it had just gone further, you know? I don't know. So whatever. Then I read Lights Out by Nevessa Allen, which I know this was like a huge popular book. I gave it 4 stars. I read it on audio. It was very good. I really enjoyed it. I don't know why I didn't give it 5 stars. I guess I just didn't like feel like it deserved 5. But I found this to be very enjoyable. I get why people like it. I am interested in the rest of the series, but I have heard it seems like people don't like them as much. But sometimes I am like a contrary bitch. So, you know. Next was a reread, and that was Falling into Love with You by Lauren Rowe. Gave it 5 stars again. Loved it. Next was another little Audible freebie, Still Mad About You by Liz Maverick, which I gave 4 stars. I've read several of her novellas, and I really enjoyed them. This one was kind of like a second chance. These 2 characters had like a falling out and in high school, and they're getting back together to plan their high school reunion. And I think this was an Audible original, because I feel like I remember the audio being like exquisite, and that's when you know it's like the Audible exclusive originals, where it's like all the background, like they're in New York City and you can hear like the cars and everything. Next was Inherit the Wind by Bill Willingham, which is in the Fables graphic novels I've been making my way through. I don't remember a lot about this one. I gave it 4 stars. I don't think this is the one. No, this is not the one. Okay, this one was just 4 stars. Okay. Then I read Beautifully Broken Life by Catherine Cowles. I've just been trying to make my way through this. I got the first 3 books in the series as like a little bind up on audio. Gave it 4 stars. Enjoyed it. Then I read The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie O. This was one of my Try a Chapter books. This one I ended up giving 4 stars. I don't think that this is for everybody. It's definitely YA, but I think it was a really fun, enjoyable story. Happy that I finally read it. Next was The Exception to the Rule by Christina Lauren, which I read on audio. This was like another like Kindle thing that I found. They've done these a lot, so now I've been like looking for them, because I've had like moderate success. And I gave this 5 stars. I really enjoyed this one. I now don't remember a lot about it, but I did enjoy it. Next was Fearful by Lauren Roberts, which this is like the 3.5 in the Powerless series, and I gave it 4 stars. This ended up not being what I thought it was going to be, so I was a little disappointed. I feel like maybe if I went into it knowing more of what it was going to be, I think I might have enjoyed it a little bit more. I thought this was really going to be Kit's story, but really we follow this character Mara more, but we do get to see more of Kit. Like, I don't want to talk too much because I feel like it'll spoil the last book, but it gave me a little bit of what I wanted, which was good. And I think I've said this before, this wasn't my favorite series, but I'm very curious to see what Lauren Roberts does going forward as she progresses as an author. Next was another this was like a little novella, like not super short, but like shortish. And that was Stranded with the Kraken by Zoe Ashwood. Every once in a while, I just feel like I should try a monster romance. I gave this one 4 stars. I ended up enjoying it. It was fun. It was like a snowed-in romance with a kraken, which was interesting. Then was the holiday novellas that Kindle did, and these I definitely had mixed success with. So first was Snow Place Like Home by Laura Pavlov. I don't really remember anything about this one. I gave it 3 stars. I've never read, this is my first Laura Pavlov book. I am interested in trying her out, like her full-length books, and I think she does a lot of small town, and I do like that, so we'll see. Then there was Merry and Bright by Ali Rosen, which I gave 4 stars, and I don't remember at all. Similarly, All Wrapped Up in You by Rosie Danon. I apparently gave it 5 stars. Don't remember anything about it. So I would guess it was cute, because usually if a novella is cute, that's like what I like. Then I read Princess of Souls by Alexandra Christo for another Try Chapter video, and this one I gave 5 stars. I absolutely loved this. It was kind of a surprise because To Kill a Kingdom wasn't like my favorite. I think I gave it 4 stars, but probably more like a 3.5. But, and this isn't like the same world, but I absolutely loved this. It just like gripped me. I cared so much about both of these characters. It like scratched an itch in my brain. Loved it. Next was The Christmas Blanket by Candy Steiner, which was a Christmas novella that I have had on my Kindle since last Christmas, because I was going to wait until Christmas to read this. I believe I heard about this from Christy Reads a Lot last year, and I gave this 5 stars. This book made me cry. It's a second chance, like, divorced couple coming back together, stranded. It was heartbreakingly beautiful. Absolutely. Next was You Better Not Pout by Mia Sosa, which was another one of those Kindle, like Amazon holiday novellas, which I gave 3 stars. This was definitely my least favorite one. This was like a relationship in trouble one, but it just like did not work for me. I've read, I think, 1 other Mia Sosa book. I don't think 2. I think maybe 1 other novella, so maybe 3. And she hasn't been my favorite. So I think that maybe like we just don't connect. Which, like, I do like a second chance romance, so I feel like this is kind of in that vibe. Next was Worst Wingman Ever by Abby Jimenez. Someday I'll read a full-length Abby Jimenez book, I promise. I gave this 4 stars. I've really enjoyed the novellas I've read by her. This one, she does such a good job of packing into these novellas. Like, they're still cute and fun to me, which is a lot of, like I said, what I'm looking for in a novella, but serious. Like this one, our main character, she's a hospice nurse, and she ends up being the hospice nurse for her grandmother, and she meets this guy just like in the parking lot, and like it's just this whole thing, and it's so adorable, but there's like the seriousness of her like getting prepared to lose her grandmother and their family and everything, and it's just, it was like just the right amount of emotion and everything. Next was Cubs in Toyland by Bill Willingham, and Snow White by Bill Willingham. I gave them both 4 stars, which is crazy. I can't believe I gave them 4 stars. These are in the Fable series. Things got very serious and very dark in these editions, and spoiler alert, I have 1 like collection left for this, and in here we get so many things happen, and I was so emotional, and I can't remember if it was Snow White or a different one. There was like 1 page, I literally took a picture of it, with Dare and Bigby. Wrecked me. But if you've read these, I know a lot of people I think really like Snow, and I like Snow, but like Dare and Therese, like that whole part and everything was just a lot. It was beautiful. Next was, I tried Nice Guys Don't Kiss Like That at Christmas by Elodie Now. I got this off Kindle. I think it might have just come up on my Amazon or like my Goodreads, and I was like, oh sure. I DNF'd it. I could not stand it. There was something about the writing that I just like, it grated on me. So next was A Beautifully Broken Spirit by Catherine Cowles, which is the third book in this series. I gave it 4 stars. It was enjoyable. It's romantic suspense. Woo! Next was Snowed In with the Gargoyles by Zoe Ashwood. So this is in the same series as Stranded with the Kraken. But this one follows a girl whose name I can't remember and these 2 gargoyles. And this one I had to DNF. I was like 30 or 35% in. And first of all, it was like twice as long as the other one. And like, it'd been one thing if stuff was happening, but like, we were just constantly having the same conversation over and over and over again. And I was like, I'm not doing this. No. Next was Rosie and the Dreamboat by Sally Thorne, which is another one of those like Amazon original things. Oh my gosh. 5 stars. I was obsessed with this. I loved it. This is pinnacle, cute, like, it is saccharine sweet, but I thought it was amazing. So, Rosie gets stuck in this, like, sensory deprivation pod at, like, a spa thing that she's doing with her sister. And so they call the firemen to come get her, and he is, like, one of the firemen, and he's just, like, waiting with her and, like, talking to her through the thing, and they're just, like, chatting and everything. It was so fun, and if you want to listen to it, like, read it, I highly recommend the audio. I feel like, especially, I think because so much of their, like, getting to know each other is, like, just through communication and everything, I just feel like audio is the way to listen to this, or read this. Next is Camelot by Bill Willingham, gave it 4 stars. Starstruck with the Krampus by Zoe Ashwood, which I gave 3 stars. So this is like the third one in this little like monster series. So this one is a girl and a Krampus. She doesn't know he's a Krampus when she first meets him. He's a client at her work. She does like marketing kind of stuff, I guess I would say. It's just monster romance, but it was fun enough. Next was another Liz Maverick, Cozy for the Holidays, which I gave 4 stars. This one is cute. It's like friends to lovers. He ends up accidentally buying a bookstore and stuff. It was fun. And then Happily Ever After by Bill Willingham, which I gave 4 stars. We will be next year. We're now this year because it's January. It is the 2nd right now. I will be finishing this. Then Drop, Cover, and Hold On by Jasmine Gilroy, or Guillory. I think it's Guillory. Sorry. I gave 4 stars. This again is in that like in a Kindle thing. My first book by her. I've never really been interested in any of her full-length books, but I ended up really enjoying this one. It's like kind of a trapped. It's this baker and this girl, and she thinks he hates her, and it's in I think San Francisco, definitely California. And there's an earthquake and they get trapped in his bakery and then they have to like talk and stuff. It was very cute. So maybe I would check her stuff out now. I don't know. Next was With Any Luck by Ashley Poston, which I gave 4 stars. This one was a roller coaster for me because when I first started reading it, I thought we had my best friend's wedding situation going on, which they even acknowledge in the story. It is not a my best friend's wedding situation. I thought it was very fun and cute. I just actually wish it was a little longer. Like, I would have liked a full-length story with these characters, and I feel like there was more to them. Not that it necessarily was lacking, but I feel like a longer story, I would give it 5 stars. And then Royal Valentine by Soraya Wilson, which apparently I gave 4 stars. I feel like it's more like a 3.5. That one was a little long, so, like, we could have switched lengths on those two, you know? Then I read Christmas Cupid by Ilsa Madden Mills, which I gave 4 stars. This actually reminded me a lot of The Christmas Blanket in that they're like stranded in a cabin in the middle of the woods in a like winter storm. But these ones are, he is her brother's like hockey teammate, and her brother kind of like concocts a scheme without both of them knowing, and they end up stranded in this cabin. I thought it was cute. It was fun. It's definitely like a little surface level, but like enough, like there's enough depth. And it's definitely like a longer novella. You know, it's like 150, 200 pages, like 150, 180 pages, not like 100 pages or 50 pages. I, of course, finished The Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday. I gave it 5 stars again. I think this is my 3rd or 4th year doing it. I am not doing it next year. I am doing a different 365 days read. Just to be clear, I don't actually read this every day. That's my intention, but I don't always, but I will go back and read the days that I miss. Then I was stuck at urgent care, so I downloaded Resting Scrooge Face by Megan Quinn, which was my first Megan Quinn, and I gave it 3 stars. I didn't love it. I feel like this is the kind of story that if it was a Hallmark movie, I would enjoy myself, but in a book, I'm like, meh. I mean, honestly, as a Hallmark movie, I'd also give it 3 stars, but I feel like, I don't know, my expectations are different. I believe this is my first Megan Quinn. I'm up in the air on if I should read her books or not, so if you have any suggestions, let me know. And then I was 1 book away from my Goodreads goal, and it was the 31st, and I knew I wasn't going to finish another book, and so I went on Facebook and I said, would it be cheating if I read a children's book? And my aunt said, it's research. And I said, okay. So I read The Comical Celtic Cat by Nora Golden. I actually bought this in Ireland at Trinity College a couple of years ago, and I bought 2 copies. I bought one for my niece and one for me, and I had just never read it, so I decided to read it. And it's just like a cute little kid's like picture book with words, a little story about a little Celtic cat and a monk who is like writing in the Book of Kells. So I thought it was fun. I really liked the artwork. It looks like the artwork from the Book of Kells. So, you know, so did I cheat? I don't know. I'm gonna say no, because it's my reading challenge and I can do whatever I want. But now let's talk about the books I did get hauled. This is the book I did purchase, and that is Thrown for a Loop by Serena Bowen. I had already read this earlier this year as an ARC, but it did release, and so I had bought a copy. And then the rest were from my mom for Christmas. So she bought me 6 books. So she got me 2 nonfiction books. So one is How to Become a Federal Criminal by Mike Chase. I actually read this years ago, but I wanted a physical copy for my shelves, and I think I might read this again. This is like some of my favorite kind of nonfiction, like just really short, kind of ridiculous, like why would you ever need to know this information kind of books. The Imponderables books are similar, like, for me. But yeah, so this is literally like, it just goes over like all the crazy laws that like you don't know that they exist. And I remember enjoying it. So, and then the other one is completely different vibe, I feel like. And that is Cue the Sun, The Invention of Reality TV by Emily Nussbaum. And my mom she actually read both of these. She does that a lot when she buys me books for Christmas. She reads them, especially the nonfiction ones, which I don't mind at all. And I think this one might actually not be from Thrift Books because it doesn't have a sticker on it. So she might have gotten this one new, which it did come out. Oh no, well, it still has, I don't know. Because they all have these like DoorDash things in them. I don't know. But I had seen this on, I think it popped up on my Goodreads. And I used to be a huge reality TV watcher, and I find the whole concept of reality TV very interesting and how popular it is. I used to be very fascinated with television, and I had all these theories, and I was also very good at guessing if TV shows were going to be successful or not. And then one show burned me, and that was Once Upon a Time. And ever since then, because I thought Once Upon a Time was going to crash and burn, and I was wrong about that. And then ever since then, I lost my touch, you know? I think I just lost touch with the world. So I don't know. She said this was very fascinating. She's like, you need to talk to me when you read it. So I do plan on reading it this year, but like not right away. I did look at like the table of contents and stuff, and it's interesting because it goes all the way back to like the 1940s. It does make sense. Like, of course there was stuff there like Candid Camera, like America's Funniest Home Videos, like technically that is reality TV. But then it gets into things that like you would think of, like the real world. There's a thing called the nihilistic Fox 90s, and I think that is so accurate. The invention of Survivor. I was a huge Survivor from the beginning fan, watcher. Big Brother. My mom said she found it interesting how they talk about Big Brother, that she talks about Dr. Will and everything. And like my mom is a more recent Big Brother watcher. I feel like she watches Big Brother now that I don't. It's like she replaced me in the viewership. New stuff like Bravo, The Bachelor, The Apprentice, and all of that. So I'm very fascinated. I'm very excited to read this. I'm very happy I got it. I think I would have bought it for myself if nobody got it for me. And then the rest are fiction, the other 4. So first is A Funny Story by Emily Henry, which I did read when it came out. This book, like, I feel like wasn't even read. It's in such good condition. But I did really enjoy this, so I wanted a physical copy. And then she also got me Book Lovers, which I have not read, but I am interested in. And this one also, I feel like, feels like it has not been read, so. And then, For the Wolf by Hannah Witten. I've been wanting to read this for a while. And part of it is I want to do a Red Riding Hood Smash or Trash. And this is supposed to, in theory, be a Red Riding Hood retelling. So we'll see. Is Hoodwinked a Red Riding Hood adaptation? And can I find it anywhere to watch it? Oh my gosh, what is his name? He did all the like Pretty Little Liars, like recap videos. Mike's Mike. He did a video on Hoodwinked and it was hilarious. If I remember, I will link it below. You should watch it. I remember really liking Hoodwinked. So maybe I should do that. I'm not as knowledgeable about Red Riding Hood. I have read it a couple of times and I have read a few adaptations, but you know, but I have been interested in this. I've heard, I think, like moderately good things. So yes. And I believe it is a series, but I think they're kind of like interconnected, just books. And then the last one is The Edge of the In-Between by Lorelei Savarin. I think this is more middle grade than even like YA. And I think I originally thought that this was like a Secret Garden retelling, but I'm actually not sure if it is. Although there is a Secret Garden quote in the beginning. It says, "If you look the right way, you can see the whole world is a garden," which is true. And a very famous quote from the Secret Garden. So maybe it is. I don't know. But if it is, I do plan on doing another like revisiting old Smash or Trashes. So if I do that and this is in fact a Secret Garden retelling, maybe I'll just continue to assume it is one and I'll read it. And if it's not, oops. You know. But it is a pretty book. It does have the library binding on it, which I just realized I could just take off. I think I have a couple of books from thrift books like that and I like never think about it. You can literally just cut them off. I don't know why I like don't. But so that is my final wrap up of the year and haul. Like I said, I will do a 2025 wrap up with my stats for the year. I think I'll go over my 5-star books like briefly, and talk about my 2026 goals. That should be coming out soon. But I'm gonna go rest, maybe change, hopefully not take a nap because it's too late to take a nap. So thank you so much for watching and I will see you next time. Bye.